Hey everybody, this is Perch. Let's talk politics and comics. We haven't talked politics and comics for a while. No, hang on. Stop. Don't stop groaning. You don't need to click away. We'll do things different. It's not the same old shit. I promise. By the way, I as long as I'm talking about the same old shit, here's something the same old shit. Like, at what point can we finally get past this bizarre self-destructive behavior of I know both candidates are garbage, but this candidate this candidate is worse garbage than the other candidate. So that's why stop pretending. Either A, if both candidates are garbage, do what good old Doc said he would do, which is start pushing the city government to say if both the candidates suck so hard that nobody likes them, nobody wants to vote for them, then the office is empty. I love this. I love this idea. Sorry, nobody gets a job. Nobody. We're closing that office. Sorry, this state gets only one representative now. You want your second representative back next time? Then put up some people that don't suck. I'm looking at you, Pennsylvania. But people always like, oh, but that one candidate is somehow worse than the other candidate. It's like, just say, I'm going to vote D down the ticket, or I'm going to vote R down the ticket, because you goddamn well know that if you're like with Oz and Fetterman, like if you're looking at that and going, well, one of these candidates is superior to the other candidate. No, they're not. They're not. If Oz was running as a Democrat, not a Republican, we would not see this bullshit about Fetterman and his speak and spell. You guys would all and same thing in the other direction. If Fetterman was a Republican, you would not vote for that guy. Just don't stop kidding yourselves. I have a lot of respect for the people who come on and say, I'm just going to admit it. I'm voting all Democrat. I'm voting all Republican because I hate the Democrats. I love the honesty. Just be honest. Anyway. All right, enough of that. Politics and comics. Hey, Perch, says the mail. Hope you're doing well. I was recommended your channel by Dad and decided to give you a listen. Wow, really? Okay. Fast forward a few months, and I appreciate your perspective on things, and I think if everyone took the approach you do with comics, we would probably be in a better situation as a whole. Wow, it's a dad recommending a dad channel, despite all the cursing. Okay, I've definitely been cursing more since I got sick, so I think I'm just pissed off about the whole thing. I'll get the salty language out of me, and then it'll be better. Okay, that being said, okay, we're back to the mail. I wanted to ask you for your opinion on politics within comics. I believe you've talked on this topic before. However, there was a specific perspective I wanted to bring up. All right, cool. Nowadays, longtime comic fans will bring up how there have been major changes to characters or new characters created to appease or appeal to a certain demographic, saying things like, keep your politics out of comics. As I'm sure you know, a common response is, comics have always been political. Yeah, that is that entire dialogue, the back and forth, the A and B that you described, is a good. It's like a signal to get away from that conversation. It's kind of like I don't know. It's like if somebody put up a sign in a park saying this park is infested with rabies and mosquitoes that have herpes. You should walk away. That conversation is a clear blinking sign to say nothing good can come of this back and forth. Nothing good will emerge from that, except maybe, hopefully, some memes somewhere when people get bored of it and just start clowning each other. All right, back to the mail. They will use examples such as Captain America and Charles Xavier Magneto. I truly don't believe the two are the same or even comparable. In the first example, they're creating characters to push ideas on people and oftentimes to sell a demographic that isn't interested in their product. Well, isn't interested, or we don't know if they're interested, right? I mean, look, there may be a world where creating a new Latino superhero that is, shouts themselves as Captain Latinx, that maybe then suddenly a bunch of Hispanic readers are going to be like, holy shit, I didn't know this was out here. I'm into it. Here's all my money. Maybe, but probably not, considering the percentage of Hispanic people who can't stand that term. I don't think that would work very well. But if it did, more power to you. I think people need to get comfortable with the idea that one of these days, one of these ideas might just land on a bunch of money. And if it does, cool, we should applaud it. Or it's not our money, so you don't have to applaud it, but at least it makes sense. You're chasing dollars. That's in a good and sane world, businesses chase dollars. Certainly morally, I'm not saying they go out and, steal things or rob people or cheat people to get those dollars. But, in a good, sane world, businesses are trying to make money. And if you could start there, there can be plenty of mistakes and plenty of problems for sure. But at least you're building on a foundation of relative sanity. You know, from the dawn of time, when people are like, "Hey, I've got some sticks on fire. You want my stick on fire to warm yourself up? I'm gonna need 10 minutes with your cave woman wife." That's how, and then the trade was made. I'm kidding. Maybe we don't know. Could have been the women have the fire and they're trading a cave, man husband. Could be, or maybe who knows. I'm going to stop that analogy right here. We'll go back to the mail, which made a lot more sense. All right, the second example, Cap, isn't pushing ideals, but rather focused on telling stories during a major conflict. There may be some pro-America stuff here and there, but the focus on the story, and I just don't think that's true compared to a lot of comics nowadays. Additionally, I think people responding are taking the word political too literally. It's kind of obvious that people don't want to be just preached at, not that a story is about Doom abusing his diplomatic immunity and the ramifications that come from that. Completely agree with that statement, by the way. To wrap up my thoughts, I think one word is being used, but isn't the right term for what's actually happening. Agreed. And people are bickering over semantics for the sake of doing so. It's because that's really what people want. They don't want comics. They don't want politics. They want to pee on each other and then feel superior in the process. Look, my stream goes farther than your stream. This is basic human stuff. This is right along the lines of you get two guys together. I'll never forget. I was working for a company at Microsoft, and I went into the bathroom one day. I've told this story before, and there's two guys who are standing like 6 feet away from the urinal, and they're arcing the pee into the urinal. And they're having clearly, you immediately know what's going on. You ever have those situations where you go in, you go somewhere, you see something, and you immediately you know the entire story from half a second of looking at the image. You know exactly what's happening. And in this case, what's happening was two guys got into some kind of weird bet or contest about who could pee further. Meanwhile, there's pee all over the floor because, of course, the stream is splattering everywhere. And so anyway, and people often say, "So what did you do, Perch?" Well, I went in there and I showed them I could pee even farther because, God damn it, check out my arc. No, I went to another bathroom and lost all respect for those two individuals. But that's what these arguments are. It is a pissing contest. It is a not literal pissing contest. There's no desire to actually get, like, no one's going to argue the semantics of what politics is and isn't and all that other stuff. No. Having a character, having Bobby Drake turn gay is not politics. It's pandering. It's bad storytelling, the way they did it. And it's certainly trying to appeal to a demographic or rather write a story to amuse themselves. It's all of those things. It is, it's not, unless you broaden the definition of politics into an absurd level, no, it's not politics, it's pandering. And on the other end, you also can't broaden the word politics to mean everything. Captain America showed up with a flag on his costume. It's politics. No, that's kind of nationalism. That's what that is. It's maybe propaganda if you want to go down that route. But no, it's not politics. If Captain America goes, and that's why I always vote the Republican, screw Fetterman, then okay, now we're into politics territory. But you know what the funny thing is? Captain America, they actually took great pains in Captain America stories to not have him do that. There's this whole thing about Captain America's running for office, and then he's like, maybe I should, but no, a bunch of assholes are run for office. And that was a story, a good story, about Captain America being, quote unquote, drafted into politics. Captain America would be like, well, no, fuck all y'all, I'm out. That's not exactly how the story went, but that was kind of the too long didn't read version. And so you can't say Captain America's always been political because by and large, Captain America has not. And if you want to point to a bunch of comics and say, buy war bonds and let's kill the Japanese, you're going to an era where not just comics, but hell, ads for soup said this. There's Campbell, I think Campbell's, who else is doing soup? But like, there's Campbell soup ads where it's like, buy some soup to help the war effort against the, racially insensitive term for Japanese, for soup. So, you can't point to this being a big gotcha that comics have always been political by pointing to things during World War II when everything was propaganda, nationalism, kind of, that's what everything was. You actually read Captain America, certainly since the 60s. You do not have a lot of comics in there where Captain America's like, God bless America and apple pie and American values and screw the Soviets. You don't have as much of that as you think. You kind of in your head you may think there's a lot of that. There's not. By and large, Captain America's off just, I mean, God, for the blissful old days where Captain America's fighting some kind of Nazi vampire. But wait, Nazis are political. Not when they're a vampire. I mean, granted, Joe Biden looks like a vampire, but it's Perch has always been political. All right. Anyway, the mail wraps up. It says, I apologize for the long mail, but I hope I properly articulated what I was going for and hope to hear your thoughts. Absolutely, you did, and you're right. I think people are messing with the word, and I think they're absolutely they're playing fast and loose because that's where the argument is. That's where the war is. But it's not. A lot of things are not political. There's definitely politics, but not everything is politics. You can't say hiring Beat Ayala to be on a comic book is politics. Again, that may be pandering, something different. Maybe a lot of different things. Maybe nepotism because you're getting one of your buddies to write a comic that they're not qualified to write. It might be tons of different things. But I think it doesn't serve anyone to broaden the definition of and plus there's an easier way to say it. Stupid. That's the easy way. This comic is stupid. I think that somewhere along the lines, people felt insecure about just saying this comic sucks. Or this comic is great. Whatever it is. And so they've got to back up their position because of the politics. Or just because it's stupid. There's a lot of stupid comics that are just plain stupid. You don't need to find a hidden reason to justify calling it stupid. You could just call it stupid, save your money, and be done. That's pretty much easier. Much easier. But if you call it stupid because of politics, two things are going to happen. A bunch of people who share your politics are going to come running in, giving you those dopamine likes that everybody wants, and going, yeah. By the way, Kamala Harris is a bitch. You get some of that. And then, as well, you will get the other dopamine hit, which is the fight. People coming in going, hey, comics have always been politics because of politics. And by the way, Reed Richards is a misogynist because, he smoked a pipe. And that's what people do. Except for the unhoused. When they smoke pipes, it's okay, but not the, I don't know anymore. Anyway, thank you very much for the mail. And, the world would be simpler if people just said what was on their mind and then we're comfortable with that. I'm voting all this ticket. I'm voting all another ticket. Cool. The end. Easy peasy. Makes life a lot easier. A lot less headaches. But, it's all in what you're into. Thanks for listening.